had ancestors who fought with the Confederacy, who said to me, we let them steal it. But he meant the Klan. Steal that as a symbol, all right? Well, there are other flags you can fly, flags of the Confederacy that don't set off any bells if you're concerned about historical, the heritage and all that stuff. Heritage, not hate. But, I mean, when you saw that picture of Roof, the terrorist, let's call him what he really was. He's a terrorist. This is domestic terrorism that the government is doing nothing about. Then there's a picture you probably saw in his blog post. He's got a Confederate flag. I mean, this has just become inextricably identified with making a racial statement. And so if somebody wants to ride on their motorcycle or do everything and fly the flag in front of their house, that's their business. But it shouldn't have any connection with anything associated with the government, except in a museum, because then you've got the context.
I haven't seen any racial situation in Charleston. I really haven't. I'm always suspicious with these things that happen. I don't know how they occur and why they're occurring the last few years, always prompting the government to do more on so-called our behalf, taking away more of our liberties.
Smart lady.
TSA, for instance, NDAA, Patriot Act,
Yeah, okay.
It's just, I think it's just something, it's a precursor, it's a catalyst, like the 9/11. It's a huge catalyst for everything that's happened so far, and I
bet that woman's a real liberal.
I think we're
real
in for an economic downfall soon, and be prepared, stock up with your...
Full videos up on Infowars.com. Jakari's been filing a lot of amazing videos with Matt. We'll be back to talk to Jakari.
I was born on the prairies where the wind blew free, and there was nothing to break the light of the sun. I was born where there were no enclosures. Geronimo. I wonder what he thinks of the permanent checkpoints, where you're quizzed about your citizenship, about having to submit to bag searches to ride public transportation, his thoughts on nonviolent offenders rotting away in prisons. They say that in these current times we are more, quote, civilized, but are we really more free? When the Persian army demanded King Leonidas and his Spartans surrender their arms, the outnumbered king shouted Molon Labe, or come and take them. Even though Leonidas was eventually defeated by a much larger adversary, he is not remembered for his loss. He lives in history as a beacon of defiance and self-defense. The desire to disarm the people is nothing new. Arm yourself with knowledge at Infowars.com, PrisonPlanet.tv, and the Alex Jones channel on YouTube.
Ladies and gentlemen, you haven't really ever heard firearms manufacturers as sponsors on my syndicated radio show or the nightly news or the news website, Infowars.com, because the companies I've been approached by were not the highest quality, and they weren't as affordable as they should be, so I refused probably 30, 40 firearms manufacturers over the years. Well then, about 6 months ago, we get contacted by Head Down Firearms, HDFirearms.com. Owned and run by a bunch of former Navy SEALs, special ops people. They're veterans, they're patriots, they're listeners of the radio show, and they want to support the broadcast. It's always about security, whether it's for yourself, your wife, your loved ones. Go to their website, HDFirearms.com. Buy right off their website, and they'll just send it to the FFL dealer of your choice. You can pick it up at the gun show, you can pick it up at the local sporting goods store. Whatever you do, get your Head Down firearm today. The spirit of 1776 lives at Head Down Firearms, HDFirearms.com. Your liver can be full of fatty deposits, built-up toxins, and even dangerous objects known as liver stones. We worked with the top developers in the field of detox to take tried and true herbs and other compounds known to safely cleanse the liver and fuse it with the latest research and technological development on concentrating these ingredients to give you the maximum effect. Liver Shield is the only liver support product on the market that uses a patented Spigirex blend of powerful organic herbs that support detoxification. And when you visit InfoWarsLife.com, see the instructional video on how to do a 6-day liver detox. This isn't a game, and let me tell you, the results are dramatic. Liver Shield is totally organic and made of the safest high-quality herbs. But that said, you need to consult your physician before you do the full detox. Liver Shield can also be used daily by itself for overall upkeep of the liver. Secure your Liver Shield today exclusively at InfoWarsLife.com for the lowest price available. That's InfoWarsLife.com or call 888-253-3139.
crashing through the lies and disinformation. It's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
Up there in space, I'm looking down on you. My laser straight.
Earth enters sixth extinction phase with many species, including our own, labeled The Walking Dead. Major government-funded study in the U.S. But that's not what matters. Let's all fight with each other over what color our skin is, even though the elite believe the human species will go extinct in the next 100 years, basically. This new story just went up on Infowars.com by Kit Daniels. Pentagon considers allowing women in every combat role. I'm going to cover that at the bottom of the hour. That ties into Secretary of Defense says U.S. to provide weapons and aircraft commandos for NATO in the war against Russia. Already going on, but a major, major escalation. And then Gruber, remember him saying you're stupid and thank God you can be kept in the dark? Well, emails show MIT's Jonathan Gruber had even more to do with Obamacare's passage than previously thought, and he lied, and so did the administration. The administration lied? We're going to go over this and play the clips. Gruber, in different videos by Obama and others, was thanked as one of the main architects of Obamacare. Then Obama said he didn't even know him. Do I have to play those clips again? Of course they got his emails in Congress, and he's there basically heavily involved. He's one of the main scammers. He bragged he helped fix the numbers, that it would cut your cost of health care when it increases it. He engaged in fraud. Indict him now. No, they're going to have the blackmailed Congress and the blackmailed Supreme Court just go along with it. That's all coming up. Jakari Jackson joins us with some really good news. I mean, I don't know if this is where he's going, but I saw Infowars.com this morning. I saw his videos. I saw what he'd been filing there with Matt, the camera guy from Infowars in Charleston, the site of the tragic events last Wednesday, that they had the Black Lives George Soros group show up trying to stir stuff up, and the locals basically ran them out of town, had a meme of all lives matter. Very exciting to see people come together. I don't think this is making the establishment very happy. And a lot of the locals Jakari talked to said, we don't buy the story we've been given. Reverend Childress says it doesn't all add up. I mean, you look at those photos of him with the rebel flag and the guns. I mean, it looks like something out of a movie. And the perfect timing and Juneteenth. And we know they shipped guns into Mexico to blame the Second Amendment. We know they shipped in people to engage in violence in other areas. I mean, this is social engineering any way you slice it. But joining us is Jakari Jackson. He'll be coming back today. I'm really glad he doesn't have to stay, because he'd have to stay if stuff broke out. Some folks deface some statues, and I totally understand that, you know, if it's seen as... Because here he is with the rebel flag, saying the rebel flag means kill Christian black people for no reason. But that's all branding. You could have somebody kill folks with the American flag. Does that then demonize it? It shows the mind control. Jakari Jackson, you were there last night during all of this. What did you witness?
Well, last night, Alex, we're here in Charleston, South Carolina. We were on the bridge right behind me. That is the Ravenel Bridge over the Cooper River, and it goes from Charleston over to the next city. Once you cross over the bridge, you're in the next city. And what we saw was a conservative 10,000 people out there. Police estimates put it up to maybe 15,000. Other people say 20,000, but conservative 10,000 nonetheless. People joined hand to hand clear across this bridge. Now, this bridge behind me is one of the largest in the region. I think it's the third largest in the Western Hemisphere. It spans 2.5 miles. So it took us about 30 minutes just to walk to, I guess, halfway point on the bridge. And that's when the people from the other town, Mount Pleasant, came and met us. And they joined across the bridge in a great showing of unity, respect, love, and faith. So it was a very impressive moment. I'm still waiting to see the hard numbers for about how many people came out, but it was thousands and thousands of people. No incidents that I'm aware of. They had a police escort, had fire trucks blocking the street so everybody could get out there calmly, peacefully, and that's what the focus was last night here in Charleston.
That bridge looks space age.
Yeah, it's a very impressive bridge. When I first heard that these guys were going to march on this bridge and go hand to hand, I was like, wow, that's a really, really long bridge. But people came out by the thousands while we were first getting there and following our initial reports. You know, buses would come and drop people off, you know, and people would drive up, hop out of cars and go park the car, and everybody ran out on the bridge. And it was a really good thing to see. very positive. A lot of people were driving by honking their horns. There were people who had boats, also police boats in the water, people driving by taking pictures, people in the boats taking pictures. So it's a really good moment and a very positive thing that's going on here in Charleston. Now, as we saw today, the crowd is starting to diminish a little bit outside the church. We drove by there earlier. In previous days, you'd have hundreds of people out there. Now there's, maybe 50 or so people out there, and we drove by just a little bit ago. So, people are kind of returning to their normal lives, but people have definitely not forgotten. They're still dropping off flowers and saying their prayers out there. So it's always in people's minds, but they're returning more to their normal.
Sure. Well, the
routine.
funerals are going to start this weekend, and that's going to open up the wounds again. But so far, it looks like people aren't listening to Al Sharpton and others, and thank God there weren't any more copycat white supremacist attacks.
Oh, yes, and I saw some of those articles you were referencing, talking about they didn't want anybody to come out here and race bait and try to cook things up. And, the hashtags going on, stay away, so-and-so, stay away. And as far as I know, we didn't have any real agitators out here. Of course, we had some defacing of the Confederate statues going on in I guess it was last night. And we drove by there a little bit earlier and saw guys power washing them off, but we couldn't really see any remnants of it. So they got
what do you expect people to do when this guy, because so many folks that want to defend the rebel flag, they're saying, hey, it wasn't involved in this. Well, the guy went and killed people draped in it, so you need to decry him. So that's clear, because, what do you expect people to do? I think that is very light blowing off of steam to deface some of the statues.
Oh, yeah, I definitely agree with that. Just to have that one area, and I thought it was very interesting because we saw some of the people this past week and said they were going to go to the Calhoun statue, but they went to a different statue that was in a different part of town and defaced that.
All right. Well, Jakari Jackson, I guess you're getting back on a plane. Thanks for working so hard. All of our team, I can't say who's the best. You're all so wonderful, but great job again, and great job of the camera crew. Matt's one of our newest additions to the office. He's been doing a great job. I'd say his last name. I didn't ask him if he wants to be known on air by his last name, but Matt, great job as well.
He says thank you.
All right. All right. Anything else, Jakari?
No, it's just been a good time, and, to anybody who has seen some of the more recent reports I've done over the past year, whether it's Ferguson or some of these other cities, this is a complete 180 from that, and I definitely hope it's a 180 for the country as we move forward.
That was a really good people of Ferguson speak out. I forget the exact name. We aired some of it earlier. That was a really good report. Folks are pretty informed down there.
Oh, yeah. People are definitely getting educated about what's going on. People are interested in finding out what else is going on behind the scenes, not just these surface things, but what's actually the root cause of some of these incidents we've seen around the country.
All right, Jakari Jackson, InfoWars Nightly News anchor, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And folks, we intend to hire a couple more reporters and a couple more writers and a couple more camera people, and we're pretty much going to be as big as I want to get InfoWars. But right now we're kind of strapped because we're always sending reporters around, and then all of our reporters do other behind-the-scenes stuff, whether it's camera, editing, and Jakari's done so many of the great intros you see, so much of the great video editing and audio editing. He is a real treasure. I'm so glad we were able to find Jakari Jackson and David Knight and Leanne McAdoo and everybody else. Just what an amazing group of people. I want to do a whole hour on the rebel flag, the stars and bars. Number one, it's a very handsome flag. It's a really good-looking flag. If you go to Infowars.com, you can see the flag. I think a good shot of it as one of the, I don't know if everybody's seen it, but it's got a really cool wrinkled shot of it. To talk about the rebel flag would take an hour to properly hit every angle. At one level, I don't like it. At other levels, I do like it, and I know why people do want to keep it. And so I'm going to spend a few minutes telling you why, and then we're going to come back to CJ, who helps produce the show. He had some historically accurate points during the break, last break, so I want to bring him on in the next segment. Then I'm going to come back, cover world news that we haven't gotten to yet in some of our top stories. Here's the issue. I'm from Texas. Texas was part of this whole Southern movement. It was not about slavery. I've read the documents, the papers, the real history of the time. It was about who would enjoy Western expansion. The North, that was mainly industrial, had very high tariffs on the Southern cotton and other things leaving the country. Internal tariffs on them trying to sell their goods. Whenever we had a Southern president, Andrew Jackson, the South tried to rebel against him and almost had a civil war over taxes. So